This is how I gave a scorpion a machine gun tail, but there was actually one big problem with this whole project. I started with a metal skeleton. This would be the base for everything so that it wouldn't break. I then used clay and tin foil to beef it up a little bit, which I messed up the tail, but I would have to fix this later. After getting all the legs in the right place, I realized the tail was too far out and needed to be curved, so I cracked up the clay a little bit and then re-sculpted it. This part was pretty satisfying, and I bet I could use these clay pieces as rocks for some miniature basing. After I fixed it, I moved on to the belly. It feels like I wasted a little bit of time on this, but I put a lot of effort and detail into this, but now I realize that since it's on the belly, you're not really going to see it that much. But that's alright, at least you guys can admire it. I sculpted up some lines for his armor plating, and then I smoothed that down after. Now, I found this on a real scorpion. They had like these little, squares, so I decided to include it. I smoothed those out, and then I would soon paint them another color, which would really stand out. Once I had it all roughly carved out, I went straight into smoothing, and I think it turned out pretty good. Now the next part I didn't film, but I thought it was more impressive than what I did film. This is how the rest of the body turned out, and I really like it. Then I went on to the most important part, which was the body. I sculpted this, baked it, and then sanded it down. And this is how the main body turned out. After this, I started on the legs, and this was so really hard and really frustrating. I covered it in clay and baked it. The funny thing was it actually fell over in the baking, so I decided to beef up the legs a little bit more and bake it again, which really didn't help because it fell over again. It took me a lot of tries to get this right, but I'm just glad I learned from it. After that, I moved on to the tail, which this was really important because it sets up for the awesome part coming next. Probably one of the most important parts of this model is the actual machine gun, which is what we're doing now. I made a little barrel and then I wrapped it in clay. This part was challenging because unlike all the natural elements, this had to look unnatural and machine-like. Every good gun needs some good ammo. For this, I rolled out a little noodle of clay, and it was really tedious, but I love how it turned out and I think it added a lot to the model. After rolling it out, I gave it some grooves so you can see the individual ammo parts. To add the grooves and individual bullets, all I did was press this wire into the clay. And this next part was really satisfying. All I did was cut it to where it looks flat on the sides, and then I pulled it right off. This is where it all comes together. I stuck it in the side of the gun, then wrapped it around the tail. And this actually created a weak spot that I would have to work on later, but it's alright. After that, to make the gun more machine-like and rigid, I sanded it down flat, and I also drilled holes for the barrel. Now this is what made the model come alive, the eyes. This was when it started to get scary, because like I mentioned in the beginning, there was a problem. I have arachnophobia, and it was really weird working on this because it has, 8 legs, it's an arachnid. But ultimately, I think it was cartoonish, so it didn't really scare me that bad, but it did help me get over my fear. After that, I poked some eye holes and filled those with little clay beans. This transition was actually kind of tough. The arms were actually just as challenging as the legs because they kept falling over and breaking. After I made the claws, they actually snapped off during the baking process. Which was funny because I glued it on, but I had to make him like a cute little cast that I would break off, so I guess, he just has to play safe for a week, and then he'll be back up to pinching people. I propped up his arms while the glue dried. I pushed off the extra glue so you can't see it very well, and now it's time to move on the part that brings all the color. It all started with a white prime. Now this is where the fun begins. I used some yellow paint in order to make it look dark and colorful, which I would soon fix this later to make it look a little bit more realistic. I used a big brush to cover most of the body, but I would go back over with a smaller brush getting all the tiny little details, making sure they're fully painted and ready. After the body, I finished up the legs, and used my small brush to get the sides of his armor. I had to do this in a few coats, so it took quite some time, but it was really rewarding, especially when you see the end. After I got all the sandy yellow, I moved on to the gun. I used some metallic paint to really make this look like metal. For the metallic paint, I learned that I had to use quite a few coats. It just didn't want to stick very well to the primer. To add some contrast, I started painting the belly. In order to make the scorpion look more realistic, I gave it a dry brush of the same color. Finally, I added some more contrast to the belly and I gave it these brown spots that I actually got from real scorpions, which I think is pretty cool. I don't know what they're used for. If you're into scorpions, let me know, or at least why they have them. This is what it looked like all finished. Then I mixed up a homemade wash and I used this so that the joints would really stand out compared to the light model, with light being on everything else but on the joints being really dark. That way they can stand out. This may look realistic because the joints of the scorpion are what really makes it a scorpion and like an armored animal. After that, to give some realism to the gun, I dry brushed it with silver to make it look worn because I'm sure this guy has been in the desert for a while. And just like the gun, I dry brushed the ammo too. After that, I mix up some bronze paint. I use this to paint the individual ammo cartridges so they look more realistic and you can add more detail to the model. This is a subtle difference, but I think it makes a really big impact. And we're almost finished. The beauty shots are coming soon. Finally, it adds some realism to the eyes that gave them a nice glossy finish. Let me know if the scorpion looks kind of real from this angle, and if the glossy finish really did all that. I think we're good, and it's finally time for the beauty shots. Man, the glue was in the way. I gotta move it. Thank you guys for watching this video. It was a lot of fun to make, and I think it turned out really awesome. So if you want to see me make more stuff, like and subscribe, or if you want to see some of my wargaming content, I got that too. God bless and peace out.